Meet Alfie, a King Charles Cavalier Spaniel who's not quite 16 weeks old. This puppy's recently come from a reputable breeder. His experienced owner's one of many families who've decided right now is the right time for a new addition. From those looking for companionship, maybe a playmate for their children, to those who only now have enough time to look after the puppy they've always wanted, demand for dogs has soared during lockdown.
We have seen a huge increase in inquiries for puppies. We have a Find a Puppy service on our website, and the increase has been phenomenal. Over the last month, we've seen an increase of about 237% over the same period last year, and it's quite unprecedented. We've seen nothing like it before.
Sit down. Sit. Boy, you will catch it.
Dogs are already big business in the UK. The PFMA, which represents pet food manufacturers, suggests 26% of UK households own a dog, and they spend $12.5 billion a year looking after them. Of course, buying a dog in the first place can be pricey. Even adopting an abandoned puppy from London's Battersea Dogs Home will cost you $230. And if you want a pooch with papers, a pedigree pet will really set you back. Personal finance website MoneyPig suggests the most expensive breed is the English Bulldog, fetching on average $2,800. Jenny Campbell breeds flat-coated retrievers and has noticed others raising prices to meet growing demand.
I've got a waiting list. I did, even through word of mouth and not advertising, I had 28 inquiries 3 weeks before they were born. I do know of a fellow flat-coated retriever breeder who advertised them online and got 300 inquiries. But I have seen it obviously in the press and in other areas of puppy prices going up phenomenally to £2,000, £3,000, £4,000, which is way above what would have been charged, this time last year.
Go puppies.
But while more people want a puppy, there are fewer out there. When social distancing was in full force, dogs couldn't meet to breed. So, as demand rose, the supply chain was disrupted, leaving the door open for unscrupulous breeders. Puppy farms are banned in the UK, but some illegal breeders put profit ahead of animal welfare, inbreeding or abusing their animals.
Unfortunately, this crisis has actually allowed poor breeders and those who are commercially orientated to actually fill that gap. Now, when we have this huge issue with the supply of puppies, it's really important that people don't make a rash decision. A puppy that's available now might seem a good option. However, it could lead to an awful lot of long-term problems and heartache. If a puppy's not healthy, of course, it's going to lead to huge vet bills and possibly even fatal outcomes for the puppies.
With the prospect of an increased cost if you buy now and potentially increased vet bills if you go to a poor breeder, buyers are being warned to make sure they've researched their new pet.
It's really important that breeders remain cautious and scrupulous, and it's very important that people looking for a puppy do their homework for the right breed and the right time.
Good boy.
But with more people continuing to work from home, demand looks likely to stay strong. The hope from animal welfare organisations is that people remember a dog is for life, not just for lockdown. Robyn Dwyer, TRT World, London.
Well, for more, let's go to Doctor Samantha Gaines from Horsham in the UK. She's the head of the Companion Animals Department at the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. Welcome to Money Talks, Doctor. Now, as we heard there, some people were prepared to pay extraordinary prices for puppies, up to £3,000, £4,000. Have you seen anything like this at any other period of time?
No, I think as your other guests that you've had in that film said, I think these are unprecedented times, and we are seeing, a lot of people charging really exorbitant prices for puppies that in ordinary times would cost a lot less. And I think unfortunately there are people that are also willing to pay for those puppies as well. So there is, there's a market for them being created, unfortunately.
We saw some organisations during the height of the lockdowns warning against people buying puppies during the pandemic. Why would they do that? What are the dangers of buying puppies right now?
Well, certainly when lockdown started, there was a huge concern around how people, if they got a puppy, would actually be able to socialise them properly. So getting a puppy and then rearing that puppy for the first few months of their life is a really important period of time where they've got to learn how to interact basically with other people, with other animals. And that was really difficult because of social distancing. So on one hand, we were really concerned about the behavioural consequences of lockdown, but also the fact that, lockdown was only ever a finite period of time, and we knew that people's personal circumstances would be changing, and we were worried that people were not thinking beyond the pandemic. So, for a lot of people, lockdown was a great time to get a puppy. They had extra time, their children were at home, but people are returning back to work, and we were hugely worried about what does that then mean for the animal that they've brought into their home, and, had they really thought about the long-term commitment and responsibility that actually having a dog in your family is, absolutely crucial to make sure that you can actually look after them for the, an average of 12 years that they live for. So that's what we were worried about, is making sure that people were fully prepared beyond the pandemic.
Now, have you seen any signs of dogs being abandoned as lockdown restrictions are being lifted?
The RSPCA has seen an increase in abandonments in this time of year compared to previous years, but it's very difficult to know specifically whether the reasons for each of the abandonments that we're seeing is down to the pandemic or not. But what I would say is that we remain very concerned about what's going to happen in the future and as a result of the pandemic. Obviously, there is going to be an impact on people's personal circumstances. Some people will find themselves out of work and unemployed, and then possibly unable to actually provide the financial commitment that having a dog means. So we are actually still very concerned about what's going to happen in the long term, what's going to happen to those people and to their pets that they can no longer care for. And we do expect quite a few to actually be coming into our care over the next few months as we see what the pandemic is actually resulting in.
Yes, let's hope that people do heed that advice to really think harder before buying a pet. Dr. Samantha Gaines from the RSPCA, thank you again for joining us on the program.